Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today is a very exciting video because I'll be shooting with my absolute dream camera. You probably clicked on this video wondering what that is, so I will waste no time. It is the Nikon Z9. And then also a huge thank you to MPB for sponsoring today's video and making it possible for me to do a shoot with this camera today. So if you watch my videos or you've seen my photography, you probably know that my current go-to camera is the Nikon Z7 II. I haven't felt the need really to make the jump to this camera because the Z7 II and the Z9 are really not that different, but the first very obvious difference, and I can feel it right now, is how heavy this is. So the Z9 has a different battery system. It is this rechargeable battery pack, but I'm just used to all of my Nikon cameras having the same sort of battery, and this threw me off for a second, but I'm sure this battery power is insane. I can't wait to kind of play around with it and see. I don't necessarily dislike having a heavier camera. It's just something to reconsider within the way that I shoot because I am definitely running around a lot. I love having a lighter weight backpack, but I also do really like a heavier camera at the same time because it just feels really nice in your hands. And this one has a really great grip here that I know I will be using. The Z7 II released at $3,399, while this guy went for $5,500. But what's really cool about MPB, which I was just mentioning, is that they make cameras and gear more accessible for photographers and videographers. And if you're unfamiliar with who they are the largest global platform to buy, sell, and trade used photo and video gear, from cameras to lenses to accessories. I've been photographing for a little bit over 10 years now, and with that just comes a lot of different upgrades within the gear that I use. And I don't really even get rid of cameras. I like to have backups, but I've realized that I don't need 5 camera backups at this point. So I went ahead and traded in my Nikon Z50. So I went on their platform, I typed in the camera that I wanted to sell or trade in. I then input the condition that it was in, and then I got an instant quote so I could really be realistic about how much money I was getting for my camera. I also really like them because they always take the time to evaluate the quality and the condition that a camera is in, and just also making sure that the camera is actually authentic and exactly what you are looking for. The sustainable part of their process is also really cool. Their business model is 100% circular, so anytime you're using their platform, you're actually just helping out. They have a decade's worth of reselling and buying gear, and I just really love that their main purpose is to just continue to inspire photographers and videographers to tell their stories visually and help out with that by having gear that's more affordable. I feel like anytime I'm able to upgrade my gear or change up my camera body, I'm always just re-inspired to create something new because I'm shooting with a new camera. So this is your sign to go into your basement, your closet, or your studio and find cameras that you don't use and get money for them. I'll be leaving all of MPB's links in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. And if you want to check out my own personal kit that I use for all of my shoots, that's also for purchase, and you can check that out down below as well. Let's get into setting up the lighting for my shoot today because Charlotte, who's going to be modeling for me today, is coming soon, and we need to rearrange all of this. Whenever I rent a studio, I just like to get here a bit early so that way when my model does arrive, we can just get right into shooting. For lighting, I brought a bunch of stuff along, but we'll see what we get into. Here I have the Nanlite Forza 300B2, which I'm going to be adding on an optical spot to, so we can kind of play around with different patterns and gobo shapes and textures, which I feel like will be really cool. I also brought along my Molis G200 with a softbox, and then I also just have my RGB LED panel lights off to the side over here that I can just kind of pull into frame if I want a little pop of color as well. When I rented the studio, I requested 3 different color backdrops behind me. So right now I have this blue. I also got a white color, which I feel like is just a really nice go-to and a safe one to have. And then I also got a plum color. I love having a little bit of variety within my backdrops because I never really know what colors I'll use until I start playing around with it. All right, so I just set up my 3 light sources here. I'm not exactly sure how I want to move forward with actually positioning them onto Charlotte, but I do know that I want to use these 3. So whether this lights up the background or the foreground, for now I just want to get a bit more familiar with the Nikon Z9. As a Nikon user, I'm pretty confident within the way that Nikons are set up, so I'm not really worried about that. I just want to make sure we're good to go and I'm not kind of delaying the photo shoot. So for this 3-light setup, I had the RGB panel light pointing at the blue backdrop behind Charlotte. I feel like this kind of different hue of blue was really emphasizing the whole color and created a really nice gradient as well. Above that is that optical spot I was talking about earlier, which can bend and shape light really well, but I just had it kind of wide open to create that spotlight you're seeing. And I just had this positioned to the side of Charlotte, so it sort of projected it behind her as a sort of isolated light, so it kind of breaks her apart from that background. And then for the 3rd light, I had this softbox with a grid. And what the grid does is just kind of direct the softbox light further onto where you're pointing it. So I just had this on Charlotte as her main light source, and the grid helped it not spill onto the background, which I really wanted to keep separate from her. Love that. Yeah, eyes looking up looks great. Great, that was so sick. Great. Do you want to do somewhere you're like sitting to the side? Yeah. Let's do that. And then you can like look over your shoulder. Great. Can you look out and do that? Great. Love that. So we just finished with that first setup. So Charlotte's just changing up her look, and then I just also changed up the lighting. I'm really loving the Nikon Z9 so far. It's definitely heavier than I'm used to, but it really has a nice feel to it, and this grip is really cool to just kind of grab onto as I shoot. And overall, the quality is looking amazing, so I'm really excited about these photos. So to explain a little bit about this next lighting setup, right here I have Charlotte's main light source. This is that same optical spot that I was using, but instead of having it open like I did previously with that spotlight, I narrowed in the light to create a sort of just sharp line, and I want that sharp line to go across Charlotte's eyes and have the rest of her just be sort of dark. And to help create that dark silhouette, I have this same softbox I was using previously, but I took the grid off, and what taking the grid off will do is help spill the light further across the backdrop instead of having it more directed. So I just have it off to the side here, spilling onto this white seamless backdrop, and I just will make sure to not get this in frame and make sure that slice of light is directly on her eyes. Ooh, perfect. Want to close your eyes? I want to see what that looks like. Yeah, cool. Head back a little bit. Yeah, that's sick. Perfect. Love. Yes. Great. Yeah, shoulders are great. Just make sure your neck is like a little bit extended if you can. Yeah. Great. That was perfect, yeah. I just have to make this a little lower. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So sick. You don't have to obviously look directly at it, but so sick, yeah. Great. You can even close them, that's cool. Love that. Could you bring in some like hands because you're kind of like a silhouette? Yeah, great. Great. Oh my god, looks so sick. And then close your eyes if you can. Yeah. Great. Ooh, great. That was cool. Love that. This is so perfect. Yeah. What the heck? The shoulders. You made it to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the photos that I shot today. I had a ton of fun. Once again, a huge thank you to MBP for sponsoring today's video and making it possible for me to shoot with the Z9 here. Kind of changing up my camera really just inspires me to think outside the box a little and throw me out of my comfort zone, and that's exactly what happened today. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed as well, and be sure to check the description below for all the links you need. But with all that, I will see you guys very soon.